People think heartbreak happens in explosions, shouting, tears, slammed doors, but mine arrived on plain white paper. I'm Finch, 28, and the woman I thought I'd grow old with was Luna, 26, laughter like sunrise, eyes that could quiet any storm. We'd been together 4 years, 4 years of tiny rituals, Friday sushi, Sunday laundry, Tuesday jokes that only we understood. Our engagement had been recent. The ring still caught the morning light on her dresser. That morning I woke to silence thicker than sleep. Her side of the bed was cold, her closet half empty, and on the kitchen table lay the note, folded twice, smelling faintly of her perfume. Finch, I'm sorry. I found someone better. Please don't try to find me. I read it once, twice, 100 times. The letters blurred, but the meaning never changed. There was no goodbye kiss, no explanation, only the echo of her absence. I didn't cry that day. I just sat there, fingers tracing the paper, realizing that sometimes the quietest things make the loudest noise. I still went to work, smiled at the receptionist, pretended nothing inside me had cracked. Grief hides well behind routine. But when I came home, every object screamed her name. Her coffee mug, her sweater on the chair, our photo on the fridge where we wore paper crowns from that carnival. I couldn't throw anything away. It felt like deleting proof that we had existed. Days blurred. I scrolled through her socials until my eyes burned. No sign of her. Then whispers reached me. John, 30, confident, a corporate golden boy with expensive shoes and an easy grin. He'd been at an event she attended. They talked. And maybe that talk turned into comparisons. He had what I didn't yet: status, certainty, shine. And just like that, potential outweighed history. People told me she'll regret it. But that didn't comfort me. I didn't want her to regret me. I wanted her to choose me. Instead, I worked, harder than ever. If pain needed fuel, I gave it everything. Weeks turned to months. Sleep was a rumor. Food had no taste. But somewhere inside the exhaustion, something shifted. I stopped checking my phone, stopped rehearsing arguments in the shower, started focusing on me. Work noticed. I got promoted. Clients doubled. I learned to fill the silence with progress. Not joy, just motion. Forward. Then, exactly 4 months after the note, fate slid her name back into my world. A friend sent me a screenshot. Luna's account. Caption under a sunset photo. Some endings are just new beginnings. But the comments were brutal. Wait, didn't John get engaged to that HR girl? So that's why she's been quiet. My chest didn't explode this time. It just went still. The man she left me for had moved on, to another woman who said yes before Luna could blink. Karma didn't shout. It whispered. And for the first time since she'd left, I didn't feel broken, just empty in a peaceful way, like a wound finally scabbed over. That's when the call came. Finch. Her voice was cracked glass, fragile, trembling. I made a mistake. 4 words that could rewind a life, except mine had already changed direction. Her voice pulled memories from corners I thought were sealed. I made a mistake, she said, and the line went silent, except for her quiet sobbing. Part of me wanted to hang up. Another part, the part that still remembered her laughter echoing through my kitchen, couldn't. What do you want from me, Luna? I asked softly. I just want to see you, she whispered. One last time. I told her to pick the place. She chose our cafe, the one that smelled of cinnamon and nostalgia. When I walked in, she was already there, fingers curled around a mug she wasn't drinking from. Her eyes lifted, and for a second, time reversed. "Hi," she said, voice small. "Hi," I replied. We sat in silence that felt louder than thunder. "I thought I wanted something better," she said finally. John looked sure of himself, like he knew where he was going. "And you were always building, dreaming. I got scared. I thought I needed stability." I said nothing. She swallowed hard. He wasn't stable either. He just knew how to act like it. He found someone else before I even understood what I had done. Her hand shook. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, Finch, but can we start over?" I looked at her, really looked at her. Her hair was shorter, her makeup heavier, but her eyes, they carried the weight of regret. "I forgave you a long time ago," I said. "But forgiveness doesn't mean return." Her face fell. "So there's someone else?" I nodded. "Her name's Tina." Tina, the girl who joined my company 3 months after Luna left. She wasn't fireworks. She was sunrise. Slow, steady, inevitable. Where Luna wanted a finished story, Tina loved the process of becoming. She laughed at my bad jokes. She listened, really listened. And one evening, when I finally told her everything, she didn't pity me. She just said, "You're still here. That's what matters." That was the night I realized healing isn't about forgetting someone. It's about remembering yourself. Back in the cafe, Luna wiped her tears. "Is she good to you?" I said, "She's kind. That's worth more than anything else." She nodded slowly, staring into her untouched coffee. "I wish you happiness, Finch." "You too," I whispered, and left before the silence could turn into something else. Life didn't flip overnight, but it moved. With Tina by my side, the noise in my head quieted. Work became passion again, not escape. I launched my own firm, small, stubborn, but mine. People called it luck when it succeeded. I called it survival. Late nights turned into plans, plans into progress, and somewhere between contracts and coffee, Tina and I became a team, in work, in life, in laughter. One evening, months later, we were walking by the river. The sunset threw gold across the water. "You ever think about her?" Tina asked gently. "Sometimes," I admitted. "Not in pain, just like a chapter that ended." She smiled. "Then don't reopen the book. Just keep writing new pages." I squeezed her hand. "That's the plan." Meanwhile, somewhere across town, Luna sat in the apartment she once shared with John. Empty wine glass, flickering phone screen. She'd started a new job, tried dating again, but everything felt temporary. She followed my business page once, quietly, no comment, no message. Sometimes she hovered over the send message button, but she never pressed it. Regret is its own silence. One night she wrote in her diary, "He didn't chase me, and that's how I learned what real strength looks like."
Months turned into a year. One morning, I was invited to speak at a conference about resilience, leadership, growth. As I stepped on stage, the lights blinded me, but I could feel hundreds of eyes waiting for my story. "I once thought success meant being chosen," I began. "But sometimes success is learning to choose yourself." People listened. Some nodded, some cried quietly. When I finished, the applause felt like closure. Backstage, Tina hugged me. "You did it," she said. "No," I smiled. "We did." That evening, Luna watched the recording online. She saw me standing there, calm, confident, alive. Not the man she left, but the man I became because she did. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she didn't reach for her phone this time. Instead, she whispered to herself, "He finally found someone better, too." A year later, life felt balanced. Tina and I moved into a small apartment overlooking the park. It wasn't fancy, but it felt honest. Plants by the window, laughter in the kitchen, burnt toast on Sundays. Sometimes, when I caught my reflection, I barely recognized myself. Not because of success, but because peace had finally replaced the noise. One weekend, Tina found an old box while unpacking. Photos, letters, memories from the Luna years. "You want me to toss these?" she asked. I thought for a moment. No, let's keep them. They're proof I survived. Later that night, while she slept, I looked through those pictures. 2 smiling faces, frozen in time. I didn't feel anger anymore, just gratitude for what those years taught me and for how they ended. Because without that storm, I'd never have found my calm. A few months later, I ran into Luna by accident, at a bookstore of all places. She was in the self-help aisle, scanning titles about healing. "Finch?" she said, startled. "Hey, Luna." She smiled awkwardly. "You look different." "So do you." We talked for a few minutes. Small talk, nothing heavy. Then she said quietly, "I saw your speech online. It was beautiful." "Thank you." She hesitated. "I'm happy for you, Finch." And for the first time, I believed her. There was no hidden motive, no lingering pull, just honesty. We parted ways with a handshake that felt like punctuation, a full stop, not a comma. Back home, I recorded a short message for my online followers. I'd started a small motivational channel, stories about resilience, heartbreak, and growth. I looked into the camera and said, "Sometimes the people who break you are just messengers. They arrive to teach you how to rebuild. If you're hurting right now, don't rush the pain. Sit with it. Learn from it. Because one day, you'll wake up and realize you're no longer waiting for their apology. You've become your own closure." The video went viral overnight. Comments poured in. "I needed this today. Thank you for putting words to my pain." For the first time, my heartbreak served a purpose beyond my own healing. It became hope for others. A year later, under the same river lights where Tina once told me not to reopen old books, I kneeled down with a ring. She gasped, tears catching the glow of the city. "Tina," I said, voice trembling but certain, "you walked into my brokenness and treated it like art. Will you stay? Through every version of me that still learns how to love better?" She nodded before I finished. "Yes." Finch, 1,000 times yes. When the engagement photos went online, Luna saw them. Because, of course she did. But this time, there was no bitterness in her heart. Only quiet understanding. She smiled sadly and whispered, "He deserved this." She turned off her phone, stepped outside, and for the first time in years looked up at the sky without wishing. It looked like yesterday. On our wedding day, as Tina walked towards me, veil dancing in the breeze, I realized something simple yet profound. Every heartbreak, every tear, every sleepless night had been preparing me for this exact moment. Not for revenge, not for validation, but for peace. When I said I do, I wasn't just promising her forever. I was promising myself that I'd never again beg someone to see my worth. Later that evening, during our first dance, Tina whispered, "You seem miles away." I smiled. "Just visiting the past one last time." "Say goodbye properly then," she said. So I did. In my head, I whispered to the memory of Luna's note, "Thank you for leaving, because you leaving taught me how to stay for myself." And just like that, the last piece of that old pain dissolved. Life isn't about finding someone better. It's about becoming someone better. If someone walks away from you, don't run after them. Let them go. Because sometimes the universe removes people not to hurt you, but to clear space for those who will help you grow. And if you're in the middle of your storm right now, if you're staring at your own version of that note, remember, silence doesn't always mean defeat. Sometimes it means dignity. I didn't say a word when she left, but today my life speaks louder than anything I could have said. This was my story. Not about losing love, but about finding life. If it helped you feel seen, don't forget to share it with someone who needs to hear, heartbreak isn't the end. It's the edit before the masterpiece.